He's going to throw it up at the horn, and it goes! It goes! It goes, baby! A three-pointer! A three-pointer! The Dogs have won it!
Alright guys, this is going to be a little remastered video to a video I made that has not been released yet, so therefore it's not remastered because it has not been seen by anybody. We are in a pickle. We are trying to find lost Scott Howard calls, and we could not find any. In this video, I am going to talk about 5 Scott Howard calls we are trying to find that has been lost, has not been anywhere since it aired, anything at all. We're going to go, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 calls we're going to talk about in this video. And we're going to talk about them right now. So there's no particular order but the last one. Number 5, January 9th, 2002, Georgia at Kentucky. Georgia's very, very first win in Rump Arena, Kentucky, in very, 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 very long time. That might have even been their first win at Rump Arena. Georgia won that game, and I want to find that because it was a win in Rump Arena, which is very hard to come by, so I do want to hear how Scott called that game. You give me one more. I'm at one more. Excuse me. And I really want to hear how Scott called that game. Just because it's a win at Kentucky, something that does not happen often at all for Georgia. Okay, another game I want to find is March 4th, 2003, Georgia versus Florida. This was Georgia's second to last game of the 2003 season. This was the game that the rumors started to get around that Georgia was going to be put on probation. It so happened to be against their biggest rival. How did Georgia win? Javaris Hayes hits a game-winning bank-in shot with about 20 seconds to play, 15 seconds to play. And I bet Scott went crazy, so I would love to hear how he called this game. I understand that all this stuff is going to be hard to find, but I do genuinely believe we can find at least some of it, and I hope and believe we can find some of it too. Now we're starting to get, in a minute we're going to get to the main call, or these are main calls I want to find, but the ones we look for the longest. The very last one that I just found wanted to find is December 3rd, 2002, Georgia versus Colorado. Georgia wins this game 71-70 on a Jonas Hayes three-pointer. Oh, and it was in desperation. So I really do want to find that call, Scott's call of that. That game was not on any TV, so the only way you could follow that game was the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Scott Howard and Jeff Dantzler called that game, and it was absolutely incredible. Jonas Hayes, that was his only attempted three-pointer as a Georgia Bulldog, and it went in. So we want to find Scott's call of January 9th, 2002, Georgia at Kentucky. March 4th, 2003, Georgia versus Florida. And 2002, December 3rd, Georgia versus Colorado. Now we're going to jump to 3 calls that many people know I'm looking for. It's just been so hard to find. 1999, December 8th, 1999, Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, the Georgia Tech radio call is available on YouTube, but not Georgia. And I was really sad when I found out that was the Georgia Tech radio call and not Scott and the gang. But Georgia wins this game just like the football game ended on controversy. This game ended on controversy. Anthony Evans tips in the ball. They review it for a little while. They say that Georgia Tech has committed goaltending, so Georgia gets the bucket, and that's how the game ends, with Georgia winning. I don't quite remember the final score, but that did happen. That was very awkward that it ended like that, but I wonder how Scott called it. And now we're down to the main two. The main two calls we're trying to find, and people automatically know what it's going to be. The first one is December 20th, 2008, Georgia versus Wofford, the 2008/2009 basketball season. I'll set the stage. Georgia throws away the inbound. Georgia then has to foul Wofford. Wofford starts to celebrate like they've won the game. Wofford misses both free throws. Trey Tompkins rebounds it. He gives it to Zach Swansea. Swansea runs and heaves up a prayer. It goes in. Georgia wins the game. And this is what we're trying to find at the moment. If we could find the Dennis Felton Inside Georgia Basketball Show with Dennis Felton from the episode that covered this game, there's no doubt in my mind that would have been the Verizon Wireless Play of the Week, which means it would have Scott's call on it. Unfortunately, I've had no luck trying to find that. But please, if anybody has this game or has that episode of Inside Georgia Basketball, please contact me or comment. We are absolutely trying to find this call. The number one call we're trying to find is something everybody knows at this point. December 11th, 1999, Georgia versus Wake Forest in the Phillips Arena Classic. Broderick Hicks goes down the court for Wake Forest with Wake Forest inbounds the ball with 8 seconds. Hicks gets it, drives down the court, lays it in. Here's where the chaos ensues. Anthony Evans throws a half-court pass to Adrian Jones. Jones takes a few dribbles. As Jones slips, he lets go of a three-pointer, and it goes in. Georgia wins at 68-67. You can actually see Adrian Jones slip into Scott in the gang. Well, I guess it wasn't Scott in the gang. It was just Scott because he was the only guy who called the game at that time. Scott, you can see Scott with his hands held raised high, calling it, going crazy. And that's the Scott Howard call we're trying to find the most. That in 2008-09 Wofford. That is the Scott Howard call we're trying to find the most. So if anybody at all has any cassette tapes, radio archives from anything from 1999, if you're in the Athens/Atlanta area or anywhere Georgia games were televised on radio, please check for 1999 Wake Forest. We want to hear Scott's call of this so bad, and I really hope that somebody notices this video so it could get attention and maybe we could something could happen. But that was the list of Scott Howard calls I want to find. If only one gets found, if I'm only able to choose one, December 11th, 1999, Wake Forest, Georgia versus Wake Forest is the one I want to find the most. So I thank you for watching. If you have any questions at all, comment below. If you have any knowledge of these, we would like to know too. But this is what we're trying to find. So thank you very much, and go Dogs.
Improbable, the unthinkable, the unbelievable. They beat Arkansas and go wire to win the SEC tournament.